When you're doing all that you can to try and make a business flourish, um, for the longest time, I was doing all that I could to try and make that business flourish. And I mean, I had a good rapport with the owner, um, which ended up dwindling down to next to nothing. Um, Once the owner married his current wife, because I guess she just despised me so much that, you know, um, he just wanted to stay away from me just so that I guess he didn't get flack from her. I mean, you're working 50 or 60 hours a week. Um, you're making that business more important than your family. Which, remember, I told you my friend Ted would never do that. His family always came first. That's something that I always will regret that I did not do, was make family come first. Um, because the business was so demanding that it just took so much of your time and so much of your attention, um, to get things done that, once in a while you just can't understand why things would get the way they did, um, and why people thought the way that they did. Um, and every day, after work, I would sit in the back parking lot and have a beer or two or three before I had made the long drive home. And the Appy manager Augie would come and drink with me quite regularly before we went our ways and went home. Um, and once in a while, even the owner, when he was coming out, would be going to his car, and I would say, "Hey, Rich, you want a beer?" And sometimes he would say, "No, I have things to do," and other times he would say, "Yeah, yeah, why not?" And he would hop in the car and he'd have a beer with us. And he was a regular guy. But it never failed that the next day I'd get that dreaded phone call from the owner's wife on, "Huh, so you had to have him in the parking lot again last night having a beer." And after a while, you start to think, well, man, I guess she must think I'm trying to steal him or something. Why would I get a phone call? Why would she knew me? She worked with me. Why would why would she be calling me to question why I had a beer with him? It's like I couldn't sit in a meeting in his office without her calling. I don't know how many times during the course of the meeting, and he would say, "I'm in a meeting." A lot of those times, those meetings were on my own. Because my schedule was 7:30 to 5:30 when I followed it, and there were times that I didn't. And I'll be the first to admit that. But there were a lot of times that I was working 7:30 to 5:30, and I didn't get out of there until 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. And a lot of times I'd be up there in meetings with him because I always had to have the meetings after work. I had to make that phone call and say, "I'm getting ready to go. Do you have anything to go over?" And then, "Oh yeah, come on up." He could be in the store all day and never talk to you, never want to speak to you, never call you up to go over anything. But I had to donate my time to it to go up. I figured it's part of the job. He's taking care of me, I'll take care of him. But again, that's some of that family stuff, dinners, things of that nature that I didn't do with my family because I'm sitting there with him. When the owner's wife would get mad at me for whatever reasons that I created or reasons that she created in her mind, um, I don't know. I'm not saying I was an angel. There were times that I instigated her, and I know I instigated her. But there were a lot of times that stuff just came out of nowhere, and then she'd call up, and I could hear her on the phone. He's sitting there holding the phone up to his ear, and she's screaming in the phone. "Did you talk to him yet? Did you talk to him? You better talk to him. Don't let him get away with it. Don't let him dictate to you what you're gonna do." And it's like, oh my God. And it was embarrassing for him. And I don't know if he knew that I could hear what she was saying, but I mean, he had to know. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him and I'm saying, "What did I do wrong now?" And it would be, "Well, don't worry about it," or, "Well, she doesn't like that you did this or that you said this." And it just, it got to the point where, you know, you give 19 years of your life to a business, to a single store. And then you get called upstairs. She hired a consultant. He's gonna he's gonna tell you. He's gonna figure out what we're doing wrong. They paid him $200 an hour to come there and interview all the department managers and interview all the store managers, the assistants, and everything to find out what where the problems were. And most of the things that we discussed, he agreed. But he would always say to me, "Well, what do you think we should do?" And I said, "I don't know. You're the consultant. Consult. Tell me what you would like me to try, and I'll turn around and try it. I don't care. Just give me a direction of what you want me to do." "Well, no, I'm just here to figure out what you guys are doing and stuff like that, and then we'll see if we can figure out a better way of doing things." Okay. But all the times that I met with him, he never really consulted anything other than he did agree with me that the animosity between the owner's wife and myself were never going to end. That even if it cooled down for a while, that it was just going to resurface again because I wasn't taking her shit. And I guess she decided she wasn't taking mine. So we ended up parting ways. I ended up retiring. But you do so many things, you know, so many things. And the day that I left, I didn't even get a goodbye. And I thought it was pretty funny that I got chastised for not going to a luncheon for an assistant. I said goodbye to him and I shook his hand when he left. And I couldn't even get the owners that I worked for 19 years to call and say goodbye to me. So, I don't know. Take it for what it is.